Hey guys, Andy here from Mediocre Hobbies coming at you with more old world goodness. This time we are going to once again delve into the world of my Dogs of War army. Now, a lot of people keep asking questions in the comments of the Dogs of War video, even though I say all the information in the Dogs of War video, what I'm using them as there is no current rules in the old world for Dogs of War. I'm using them as an Empire army. I'm saying it now in the video so that hopefully everybody that clicks on it and gets to this point at least will know what my plan is. They will represent an Empire army for me in the old world, as there's no rules for them yet. So things like the Paymaster on his wagon will be a War Altar. The Birdmen of Katraza, 5 of those will be a unit of Pistoliers. You know, that kind of thing. There's similarities between everything. I'm sure I can figure it all out and get those models on the table. But in today's video, I'm not actually going to be doing a Dogs of War specific miniature, although he will fit in this army and I think he belongs. I'm going to be doing a Kislev Winged Hussar. These are beautiful models and they are of course an entire army by themselves. I do own about 30 Winged Lancers and a squad of 20 of the infantry as well. Now, most of those are already painted and not by me, and there's still a lot of internal debate as to whether I should repaint them or not. A lot of people say no because they're a semi-famous army. They appeared in White Dwarf. They were painted by someone who used to work for Games Workshop. I still don't know yet. So the 10 that I do have that are unpainted, I built 5 of them in the first episode of this series where I showed you building my Dogs of War, and I plan to use them as Empire Knights in my games. Fairly simple comparison. Awesome, heavily armored knights, and I think it's going to work out just fine. So that's what I'm going to do in today's video. I'm going to paint my first Winged Hussar. Winged Hussars are just so cool. They're such an awesome concept. I do still believe that we will get new Kislev models in the old world at some stage. I believe that from the bottom of my heart. They started the design process. It's there somewhere. They'll finish it off. Hopefully you guys are excited to see how these turn out as much as I am. And without further ado, I suppose let's get stuck in and see what we can do. Okay guys, here's the Winged Lancer miniature that I've chosen to paint up in today's video. It is the Sergeant of a Squad, or I don't know what the actual Sergeant of a Kislev unit is actually called, but maybe we'll figure it out as we go through the video. Really nice miniature, gone with sprayed black and then obviously dusted with grey cere. And then I'm going to start the painting process. So the painting process is going to follow all exactly the same steps that I've been going through with the rest of my Dogs of War units with the orange and black color scheme. And I don't want to focus too much on the how I painted it. I imagine the Dogs of War series is more of like an entertainment style series of videos. You guys watch along and enjoy the kind of army develop and see some units you maybe not have seen before, and get a little background information on them and stuff like that. I don't expect a lot of people to follow along with some Winged Lancers of their own in the same color scheme, so talking through the painting probably isn't the most useful use of your time. So I'm going to tell you a little bit more about Winged Lancers and Kislevs and stuff like that, so you guys get a better understanding of who they were and what they were. So the famous Winged Lancers of Kislev are mostly made up of young sons of boyars from all across the lands. Even though they are themselves of only modest rank, the Lancers enjoy a great deal of respect from the people of Kislev for their role in protecting the nation. It is their duty to always be prepared for war, as invasions of Mother Kislev are an all too common occurrence to simply ignore. Every single town or settlement in the country that is Kislev is required to maintain a wing of Lancers for the mutual defense of the nation, which are often the focus of great civic pride. Their standards have usually seen many battles and their loyalty is fanatical. They are, however, not full-time soldiers and often seem more loyal to the home than to Tsarina Katerin. Nevertheless, they fight bravely against chaos, and so the Ice Queen is more concerned with other political problems. These mounted warriors are famed for their elaborately decorated armor, most especially the large feathered wings mounted on their back that make an eerie sound when they charge. The famed feathered wings are the invention of the great historical warrior Tsar Alexander Nevsky, whose winged back banner emanated an eerie hell that no chaos worshipper could endure. The rest of the armor is decorated as richly as the Stantista can manage. As a matter of pride, and the warriors only don their impressive armor immediately before battle to avoid damage in everyday use. Unsurprisingly, their primary weapon is a lance, but they also use swords for close fighting after discarding their lances after an initial charge. Whilst not as maneuverable as the Ungol horse archers, they are still a highly mobile force and the mainstay of Kislevite armies. Every Gospodor settlement annually raises a rota of Winged Lancers. Each spring, eager young men muster alongside veterans and don armor at their Rotamaster's command. To the sound of weeping parents, they ride, their winged banners fluttering behind them until they return. They are known as the Riders of the Dead, for they are mourned as if they have already deceased. Each rota of Lancers has a different character, where some southern examples are like Imperial Knights sporting colourful pennants, intrinsically decorated armour and great animal pelt. Lancers from beyond the Lisk are often akin to Ungal nomads, having heavy moustaches, top knots and fur-lined charms to ward against evil. Okay, so that's a little bit of information from their Wikipedia page style thing. As for what I know about them, the Kislevites, Kislev was indeed an entire nation of brave human soldiers that it existed just north of the Empire. It was the bulwark between the Empire and the Chaos Wastes, and it served as protector for most of the southern world for thousands of years. Their capital city of Prague was an impenetrable fortress. It had crazy amounts of wards and magics, all built by dwarves to keep out all that chaos influence. And it did help against many, many crazy sieges. Now, unfortunately, with Archeon's last gigantic push against the world, his armies did indeed sweep across Kislev and literally wipe it from the maps. It no longer existed in the old school Warhammer lore before the end times. It was long and truly gone. Now, the game system that we play now, Warhammer The Old World, is set a few hundred years before the end times, so the fall of Kislev has yet to happen. This means that at the time of playing now, Kislev is still very much in existence. It still has large quantities of armies. It is still holding back the Chaos forces, which is why I thoroughly believe at some stage it will indeed get a range of miniatures released for it. When the Old World was first announced that it was going to be coming back many, many years ago, Kislev were the first army that they promised us. And they did actually give us a couple of updates between now and then, or then and now, with stuff that they were working on. They showed us the concept art for Kislevite archers and some foot troops and even bear cavalry. They promised that this was going to be the first army released for the Old World. Now, unfortunately, they did have to shift tact because I don't think they had enough time to develop multiple armies. So they decided, why not get a couple of armies off the ground first? Or at least that's my understanding of it, my educated guess, if you will. And that's where the initial 9 forces coming back came from. So the 9 forces that we are currently seeing get released one after the other. We started with Tomb Kings and Bretonnians, and of course then have moved on to Orcs and Goblins, and it is Dwarves that is next. So once they get through those 9 forces, they have all their arcane journals out for those and a range of miniatures available for us to purchase. Then I do believe if the game is in a good place, we see it being successful, then I think the first full-scale new army that they will drop for us will of course be Kislevs. We will get new Lancers, we will get new foot infantry, and like I said, we will get the glorious bear cavalry as a monstrous cavalry option, and that's something that I just cannot wait for. I will of course purchase it all and have quite a large army. I'm a big believer in the forces of humans, men fighting back the bulwark of chaos. It's always been a way, hence why I have such a large empire army. And why paying this Kislevite Lancer has actually become such a treat. I did very much enjoy him. Now, like I said in previous videos, I've shown off some other miniatures that I do have. Like I said, I have 30 Winged Lancers. And I did talk in a previous video as to whether I should strip the 20 that are already painted. They were painted in the early 2000s is my guess, maybe the late 90s, but my guess is the early 2000s. I'm not going to name names because I don't know whether people want names, but basically a guy who used to work for Games Workshop, who used to work in head office and did live in Dublin, sold them to me. Oh, God, it must be about 10 years ago now. So the word was out that I was looking for a Kislevite army, and he had one, so he sold it to me. And unfortunately, it went in a case and got almost forgotten about until around about now. And yeah, I talked about the fact that I might strip this, and a bunch of people in the comment section recognized the army from the White Dwarf article that it was in. It was in like a Tale of 4 Gamers. Him and 3 other people obviously built up old world Warhammer armies and got these. So this army means something to a bunch of people. So I'd feel like horrible it's almost like a piece of history. I was trying to ask them in the comments if they had any idea what White Dwarf number the battle report was in where these armies were shown off, because I would love to read that article. So the option is there for me to just rebase the old school army. It is well painted for its time. I'm not saying that the guy's a bad painter at all. I'm sure if he was using modern paints like I am today, he would paint better than I do. But obviously he was limited at the time. I don't even think, I think he was still working with inks. Shades still weren't out back then. And he did a really great job. So the option is for me to just rebase them to the new modern size and then touch up any kind of chips and scrapes along the way and then using them as that. That is an option. Or do I strip them all and repaint them in my new orange and black scheme? And like I said at the beginning, I do have 10 to do already. So I've built 5 of them. I'm short on the horses for the other 5, but that's something that shouldn't be too difficult to get my hands on. So 10 of them in the orange and black may indeed kind of scratch my itch, and I'll be happy enough with that. And then his ones in the green livery that he did. Like I said, if you guys know the old army I'm speaking of, then you want to let me know what White Dwarf article that was featured in. That'd be great. I would love to know it. And as you can see, the process of painting them isn't too bad. It's quite an enjoyable thing, even with all the stages that I go through with the orange and black. There was no part of painting this that I felt the tedium, you know, and sometimes you're painting something like edge highlighting. If you had 10 Space Marines to paint and you're edge highlighting, you're only on the second one, and you're just like, oh my god, I hate this. There was no steps like that in this, so I would very happily paint more and more and more Kislev Winged Lancers. Would I paint 30? I don't know. 10? Absolutely. I'd love to know what you guys think about that in the comments below as well. Do you think I should strip and repaint the old models, or do you think I should leave them as they are? As it stands, this guy got a very nice paint job. I'm really happy with how it turned out. In the images that follow, I've got some couple of high-res images. I show you a little bit of the other 2 units that I've already done for the Dogs of War army. One is, of course, just the character, Lorenzo Lupo, and then one is a picture of the Birdmen of Kotraza. Both of those are other videos, so you can check them out in the Old World playlist. And you can see what the force is going to look like together, even though those 3 miniatures are totally different in design, shape, aesthetic, all the things. I think they look really cool together as they're all painted in the nice orange and black scheme. I think the scheme really works. I almost want to make a video of, does this scheme work for everything? And then just show it off in a bunch of different random things, because I think it looks great. Orange being my favorite color might be slightly swinging the bias of that, but you never know. Like I said, here are these images. I would quite like, if I could click my fingers and see 30 of them painted like this, I'd be so happy. Here they are together. Like I said, 3 very different models, but I think they work really well together. I think a whole force of Dogs of War, all different models painted in the same scheme, is going to look fantastic. Now I just need to dig out the time to get more of it done. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Okay guys, and there we have it. My first Winged Lancer is complete, apart from his shield. I don't know if I have enough shields for the 10 unbuilt ones I have so far, but I'll have to have a dig around and see if I can find some. I really like how he turned out. Once again, this orange and black color scheme seems to just work on everything. It's some sort of magic combination of colors that I haven't put it on anything yet where I haven't thought it looked absolutely stellar at the end of it. I've been very tempted to try an orange and black Space Marine now as well, just to see how it turns out, but that's for another video. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. I hope you're excited by the progress of the Dogs of War army. I hope you're excited to see what the entire force will look like on the table at the end. It will be this conglomeration of awesome old school miniature units, all painted to the matching livery of the orange and black. And I think as a combined force, it's going to look awesome. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you give it a like, ask me any questions you want in the comments below. I'll get back to absolutely everybody. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on all future Old World / Dogs of War content. And yeah, if you want to check out my Patreon, help me support the channel even further, link down in the description below. A bunch of benefits in there for you to check out. Thank you guys so much for sticking around to the end of the video. I'll see you in the next one.